Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to cover in lesson 3 how to add stocks or ticker symbols into your watch list. So this is a question that was asked by Sahish. He's already done his analysis and he decided on 5 companies that he wishes to invest in based on the recommendation that was sent out on WhatsApp. I'll share it with you guys here that are watching for the first time. So these are the companies that we identified are possibly good value, undervalued at fair price based on the scanner. If you want to know how that's done, I can share that with you as well. But if you've been following the lesson so far, previous lesson we talked about 2 indicators. I'm going to cover more indicators in another future lesson. But for today, we're going to cover something very, very simple, which I did cover before in lesson 1, but we're going to cover it again. At this time, I've zoomed in to the screen so you can actually see what a watch list looks like. I've got here a few examples that I've created previously. LSE for London Stock Exchange. So I've created different watch lists and scanners in the platform here. And this is just an example of what a watch list looks like. So I've got the ticker symbol here. So this is the instrument symbol. And then followed by the last traded price. And then the change. So the change in values, in pennies, and the percentage. So I hope that's clear. So once there's the market updates, as you can see here, the time and bid asked are all live, and this is just an example of the current orders that I have in place. I do recommend for everyone, including Sahish, not to chase the market. You do your analysis, your technical analysis, your fundamental analysis. You decide on the fair value price that you want to pay for the share, and you put in your order based on that price. So if you decide you want to buy X share for 40 pence, you place the order at 40 pence. You don't buy at the market price. Okay, so you do your analysis, you decide in advance how much you're willing to pay for it, and that's when you put in the order. And we'll share how to do that in future lessons. So be patient. All I want you to do now is just practice, practice, practice. Learn as much as you can from this particular lessons that I'm creating, as well as other YouTubers. There's a lot of talent out there on the internet. There's a lot of free courses that you can follow, Coursera, Udemy, and so many courses online, free of charge, and you can just like a sponge, just absorb as much knowledge as you can from everywhere. And I'm here to just help you along the way so you become a profitable trader and turn this into a professional career. Before I get started about the watch list, I want to make a recommendation. I noticed from a couple of you have sent me screenshots and pictures of their setup. Some of you are using a laptop. That's fine if you just want to become an amateur trader and you just want to do it as a hobby. But if you want to take this serious and make a serious income from it and treat it like a job, I would highly recommend that you invest in a couple of good quality monitors, at least 34 inches for each monitor, or get a decent size, maybe 24 inch, but 4 of them, and connect them to your device. You can get adapters so you can connect more monitors onto your laptop if you've got USBs, ports, enough USB ports, HDMI, VGA, and so on. So you can connect more than one monitor to your device. I personally use 3 monitors. I've got 2 34-inch monitors which are the main monitors that I use for trading, and I've got a third monitor which is slightly smaller, about 17-inch, and I use that as well to monitor things. Ideally, I would like to work with 4 to 6 monitors, and I highly recommend, if you don't have external monitors, to invest in at least a minimum of 2 34-inch monitors, because the screen can get very messy on one monitor. So you need to spread out your work. You need maybe have one monitor where you're viewing charts, another monitor where you're looking at your portfolio and your watch list and so on, and maybe the third monitor could be news and other additional research and so on, and then maybe the fourth monitor you could do your general activities, checking emails and other stuff as well. So yeah, that's my recommendation before we get started in this lesson. So we're going to start from a blank slate here. So what to do is to click the plus button, and that will give you a clean slate. I've already done that, so I've just created one called watch list. So you could do that by clicking a plus sign and say watch list here. It's very self-explanatory. Yeah, so just click on the watch list. If you want a market scanner, you can click on market scanner, but we'll cover that in a future video. I've already touched on it on the first lesson. If you haven't watched the first lesson, I highly recommend you go watch the first lesson again. So yeah, so this is where now you imagine now we've clicked the plus sign, you've selected watch list, you've got this screen here, and now you want to add your instrument IDs. Okay, so I'm looking at the list now. So let's look at Jet2 airline. So we put Jet2 here, enter, and it gives us here, it's a London Stock Exchange, just the one we want, not contract for difference, it's a stock. Okay, we can cover out what all these means later on, but I don't want to confuse you, so let's keep it simple. Click on stock, and now you can see the price that it's currently trading at, £11.72. So this is all in pence, right? So 1,172 pence, 0.5, yeah, half a pence here. It's moved up 8.5, which is 0.73%. So that's so far. It's going to change. I've traded Jet2 for quite some time now. I've been actively trading Jet2 in the past 2 weeks. I've bought and sold it a couple of times, maybe more than that, but so yeah, it's definitely a good company. That's my opinion. Profitable, very low debt. In fact, let me check on that. I believe they don't even have any debts, but I could be wrong. I'll look at their cash flow. So fundamentally, they are sound, very good fundamentally. And then we'll look at the technical stuff. So technical changes all the time, because the graphs are all, charts are changing all the time. There's buyers and sellers all the time. So you want to find a good entry based on price movement. So price action, decide where to enter, where to exit your trade. If you're a day trader, you want to look into entering the trade and exiting on the same day, and make a modest profit on that. If you're a swing trader or a long-term investor, you're looking for a good investment to make on the long term. Jet2 is dividends, so it's an income producing company. I highly recommend it. But you make your own decision. Yeah, do your own research, look into it. Don't take my word for it and just invest. I want you to do your own research. I'm speaking from my personal perspective. I would invest in it. However, at what price? That's what you decide. That's where you look at the charts. You do your technical analysis, which will cover more in depth in future videos, future lessons. We're going to cover more technical analysis, looking at the indicators, looking at price action and all that stuff. So we'll cover it in future lessons. Right. So so here, Jet2, you want to add another instrument, Everplay maybe. Let's try that. EV. no, PL, I think it is. Let's check. No, I've put it down wrong. Let me just search for the actual thing. I think it's called Ever Play. I think Ever Play. Play. Enter. Yeah, so it's brought it on the other screen. Let me just drag it across. So there it is. It's TM17. So that's their symbol. So I click on that. It brings me to that same screen again, and I click on stock. So yeah, so it's very simple to add to your watch list. As you can see the current price 268.50. It's moved one pence up and 0.37. Again, that's a really good company. I think its analysis is on the fair value of a bargain, and a lot of the analysts have targeted an uptrend of at least 47%. So it's looking good from other analysts. About $500 million in market cap, so it's quite big company. And we can look at the fundamentals together on each company at some point. But right now, I want to keep it very simple for everyone to follow along, and for everyone that's starting out on TWS for the very first time, they at least know how to add something on the watch list. So I would highly recommend to at least be watching between 30 to 50 companies, and then analyzing each one. First, do your fundamental analysis. Make sure you invest in companies that have strong fundamentals, sort of financially they are strong. I could tell you about my strategy and how I choose companies to invest in after being burnt so many times, and how I've lost a lot of money before learning a very expensive lesson. So I don't want anyone to go through what I've gone through and to lose what I've lost when I was still in my early stages of learning. And never get too confident, because the market will humble you. So never get too confident, no matter how much money you make or how successful you become. Never underestimate the market. And nothing is certain. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. Anyone that tells you, you're guaranteed to make X amount of money, they're not being honest with you. Okay, nobody knows. No one knows 100%. Everyone has their own system, and they follow their system. They stick to it, and they work on their plan. However, they can never guarantee it. They can improve the probability of success. So it's a game of probability here. You're trying to increase your probability of success. Anything over 70% success is good. So if you can aim at, for every 10 trades, 7 of your trades are profitable, and when you do lose, so if 3 out of 10 you lose money, or you make a bad investment, at least those losses are small. So for example, if you're aiming at least for every 7 good trades, you make £1,000, and for your losing trades, you want it to go down to maybe 100, 200. So overall, if you've lost 3 times out of 3 out of 10, you've only lost 600. But when you've been successful, the 7 out of 10 good trades, you've made over £1,000 a trade. So at least at the worst case scenario, you want to be aiming at making 7,000 for every 7 trades that you've made. You've made 7,000 at least. So you've averaged at least £1,000 per trade. And obviously, if you could get more, some trades are going to make more, some are going to make less. So on average here, okay, so you're not trying to just say target and say, right, okay, I'm not going to sell this unless I make £1,000. No, you aim, you have a percentage, maybe a 3-to-1 ratio, so triple what you put as your stop loss. If you want to use a stop loss, it's highly recommended, but if you're a long-term investor, you don't care too much about the peaks and troughs. You want to invest on the long term. You've already done your analysis. You've invested in a company based on the fundamentals, just like Warren Buffett and other successful investors, long-term investors, and you hold on. So you're not looking at on a daily chart and trying to see if your stock is down and it's up today, it's made X and it's made Y. You don't want to do that. You want to focus on the long term. Now, if you're a day trader and you're after making small gains every single day, then you will be studying the charts. You will study the charts, you do your technical analysis as well as your fundamental analysis, because you want to make sure that you're in a company that is fundamentally strong. Yes, you can go into a very high risk stock or high risk investment. However, when things go wrong, it can go to zero. That happened to me. I ran after hype. I ran out after early expiration companies, highly leveraged. High leverage means they're high in debts. They've borrowed a lot of money from the banks and they are over leveraged. When things went wrong, they went badly wrong. They got delisted from the market. That means money's gone. Everything's gone. It's not like they've dropped 5-10%. It's not like they lost 50% of their value. No, gone, zero. Okay? So you don't want to get burnt like I've been burnt. You want to do it right from the start, and you're going to learn from people that have been there, done it, lost, and made it back. You want to learn from people that had the lessons. You don't go after people that are on TikTok or whatever on social media, floundering and showing off the rented Lamborghini and telling you can make a lot of money, you can make money quickly and stuff like that. It's not true. It's a lie. It's hard work. You have to put in the effort. You have to invest your time and effort, and you have to go through the learning curve. So there's a lot of learning in becoming a professional investor, professional trader. A lot of work learning, and a lot of hard work. That's me talking too much now. Let me see what else I can share with you. So as you can see here, and I've showed this before in lesson 1, once I click on the stock instrument here, it updates here. Okay, so it updates here. You can see the price straight away, and you see it changing because it's all real time. And also, if you double click on the stock like so, just double click here, no, not just maybe this bit here, you go, it should open up. Yeah, so it gives you a bigger screen and you can see more details and so on, and you should see the price changing as it's updating. So now it's up 1%. Okay, so you got your bid and ask, and this shows you as well as the 52 open, 52 moving average, the average volume as well. So you can get a lot of details. You can do a little bit of hard, spend a bit of time. Don't expect someone to hold your hand in this. You should be building yourself up. I'm going to be helping anyone that wants to get involved in trading, investing, and all that stuff. I'm here to help. I'm a backup. But you need to put in the effort. You need to pull the trigger. You need to decide what to invest in based on your analysis. Okay, I can't tell you. I can only point you. I can tell you, look, here's 50 companies that I believe based on my own research, they're good value companies, good growth potential, good uptrend potential, and all that stuff. Right? I can give you some hints, but ultimately you need to decide what to invest in. I can't tell you. and you need to decide for yourself where the support and resistance are, and where to, decide what price you want to buy that particular asset at. You decide it for yourself. I can't tell you. Yeah, and it's also always changing as well. So I can tell you today, Jet 2 is good price to buy it if you can buy it for £11. Yeah, and then tomorrow you decide, or a week later you decide you want to buy it for that. It may not be worth £11. You may never be able to buy it for £11. It may be £14 by that point, and then the good value to buy it at is maybe 13 and a half. Because if you put your order in, your limit order at £11, it may never hit it. It may never go back down to £11. And likewise, something might happen. The market might have changed, and then suddenly, Jet 2 is true value now is less than that. Maybe there's a big fine, something happens, there's a war that started, oil prices have gone up. That's going to affect the airline business, because Jet 2 is an airline. So you need to do your own analysis. It may be worth only £9 at that point, and then you go buy it for 11, and then it drops to 9. It's not right. Yeah, so you need to understand, you need to learn how to do things for yourself. Yeah, especially if you are someone that's a father, if you've got children or whatever, you don't, when your kids, when they're born, whatever, and they're just crawling and they're trying to stand up, you don't just say, oh no, I don't want him to fall over, I'll just carry him all the time. You don't ever learn how to walk. You need to learn how to walk. You need to learn for yourself. And I can tell when people don't watch lessons, when people ask me questions and they don't watch the lesson, because sometimes I explain things in a previous lesson and then I get that same question again asked on maybe lesson 2. I know they haven't watched lesson 1, because I already explained how to add to the watch list in lesson 1. And now on lesson 2, people are asking me, well, how do I add to the watch list? How do I do this? How do I do that? I already showed you that in lesson 1, but because you didn't watch it to the end, you didn't see it, you missed the part, or you wasn't focused. So you need to go watch lesson 1, go to lesson 2, and now this is lesson 3. Okay? Watch it in order. Don't skip lessons. Otherwise, you're not going to look very smart, because you're asking the same question again and again and again, and you're not learning. So you need to invest the time and learn by yourself, and use everything else that's online as supporting material in your learning journey. Hope it makes sense. I'm gonna probably in lesson 4 go back to the chart, and then I'll talk to you about other indicators that you can add to the chart to help you make an informed decision where to enter, where to exit, and so on, after you made the decision first that you are making an investment in a sound company. The other question I got, which I'll cover as well, regarding the value that you should be investing in each company. You have to decide that for yourself. My personal recommendation: investing in companies, do not invest less than £5,000. Always invest per company, at least budget for £5,000 per company. So at least when the share price goes up by 10%, you made £500. Second point, you invest £5,000, roughly the commission for buying and selling. You're paying commission to the broker for buying and selling. So that needs to be absorbed. In this particular broker, they charge £3. So you buy something for £5,000, you're going to pay £3 commission, and you're going to pay about £3 when you're selling. Okay, you have to look at that as well. So you don't want to enter the trade and you made £6 profit. You pay £3 to buy it, pay £3 to sell it. You made zero. What was the point? So you don't enter buying shares, and you spend £3 to buy the share, and the share costs, you've invested only £10. It doesn't make sense. Okay, that's 30%. You just paid to the broker, and then 30% again when you're selling. So you're clearly going to make a loss, even if the share price has gone up from £10 to £11, and all you invested was £10. Yeah, congratulations, you made £11, but you've paid the broker £6. So overall, you've lost. So don't do that. Go in with a decent size. Invest at least a bare minimum £5,000. Now, if you don't have that kind of money lying around, and you only have £1,000, fine. Invest £1,000. You're gonna pay £3 commission, and to buy, and £3 to sell. And so yeah, £6. Make sure you make more than £6. That makes sense, right? Make sure you make more than £6. So if you aim at 10%, make £100, deduct £6 from it. The rest of it is your net profit. Okay, so I hope you've already know that, the basics of accounting, of what profit is, what loss is, costs, expenses, all that stuff, right? I hope you already know that. Before you enter trading, you need to learn the basics of accounting. So you need to understand what profit and loss is. Okay, so I've covered pretty much it. I can't think of anything else I can cover, or what I haven't covered before in the previous lesson. So let's see if we can look at something else as well. Just quickly, if I can't really, it's not actually popping here. It's very difficult to use it on this monitor. I wanted to get a different thing. Competitors. Let me see if it's gonna connect. You could do a lot of, you can read the news. Maybe like if you right click, and then you just you can see here some stuff. Let's look for news, for example. Where's news? News, there you go. News and research. It's going on the other screen. Let's get it back to the other screen. Okay, so I hope you can see this. Okay, so this is the news. So you right click on the stock, and then you can see the news related to that particular stock. Okay, so this is the news, 5th of May. So yeah, read the news before you invest in any company to understand exactly what's moving the price. And then you can also read some of the stuff, decisions based on financial institutions, how they've rated the stock. Here you got JP Morgan cuts trade target price to £12 from £13. Now the current price is £11 something, right? So yeah, so you follow the stories, research reports, look at market commentary, press releases, filings, takeaways. Some stocks may not have anything there. They say no results. Some of them would have more information, right? So you can do that. This will give you portfolio news. This is generally on all the companies that I currently own. So I've got shares in Interactive Brokers, and yeah, so it gives me my portfolio, my holdings news. So yeah, it goes through my my portfolio, and then this gives me news relating to my portfolio. And I keep scrolling down. Yeah. So yeah, what's this one about? Yes, this is all about interactive watch list news. So we added to watch list. So this gives me the watch list that I have. It gives me stuff related to my watch list. So this would be really good to open this up and go through news that is related to your watch list. Okay, and so on. I hope it's clear, and you've enjoyed this lesson and you've learned something along the way. If you got any questions, feel free to contact me on WhatsApp. Send me your questions, and I will try to cover it in future lessons. And if you want to learn something in particular, you want to understand something, or you find a particular concept that's difficult, yeah, send me the questions, and I'll try to include it in the lesson. I hope this recording is better quality than the previous one. I know the quality was very poor. Unfortunately, I'm away from my main home at the moment, and I'm connecting via mobile data, so the quality can be a little bit poor. I'm doing my best here for you guys, so yeah, do send me, interact with me, send me questions, ask me about anything. Don't ask me just for stock tips, like, oh, what should I buy or whatever. No, I want you to learn. I want to teach you how to fish. I don't want to just give you a fish to eat. I want to teach you how to go out there and feed yourself. You guys need to learn that. It's not a get rich quick scheme. Okay? Anyone that tells you can get rich quick, they're not being honest with you. So you need to learn the tools of the trade, and you need to practice. And in the previous lesson, I showed you how you put in a dummy trade without transmitting it to the market, and then just evaluate yourself. Start to put in real orders now. At least learn for the next 4 to 5 weeks. 4 to 5 weeks of practice, learning the concepts, understanding what you're doing, and then after 4 or 5 weeks, when you feel now you're confident and you're able to read the market, read the charts, and understand what indicators are, and technical analysis, and what's fundamental analysis, and all that stuff, then you can pull the trigger. Then you'd say, right, okay, now I'm gonna transmit my order to the market and start treating it like a job. Wake up early, and treat it like a full-time job. You need to do that if you want to make serious money. If you want to turn it into a proper career or a proper business, you need to treat it like a job, even more than a job, because it should be something that you're more than passionate about. Yeah, so you need to do that so you can become successful, inshallah. Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and see you again in a future video. Take care.